Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and I am back from New York City. I was at an event sponsored by Pepcom where they take a whole bunch of consumer electronics manufacturers, put them into a pretty tiny space, and give you 3 hours to talk to as many as you can. So I had a good time. You saw 3 reviews or interviews that I already posted, and this is going to be a wrap-up. I'm going to try to experiment with covering these events a little bit differently moving forward because not every thing needs an interview, and I think we might be able to go through some things a little bit more efficiently if I do some B-roll and then explain what I saw and give you my thoughts on those things versus an interview for everybody. So let me know what you think of this format. We'll see how it looks moving forward. I also want to thank my friend Stu Orovitz, who I haven't seen since college. We both graduated from the University of Hartford, I think about a year apart, but I finally caught up with him after all these years. We went around Pepcom and then grabbed a bite to eat, and it was really cool to catch up with him. So really fun time in New York for me. So the first thing we saw that was rather interesting, and I really should have gotten an interview with these folks, but it was getting a little bit crazy in their section of the room, was something called an iSkn Slate. I think they call themselves iSkn. And what this is a drawing tablet that uses your regular pencils and papers. You can use any paper that you normally draw on. You can use your usual drawing pencils, and you just attach a little magnet to it, and it will record your drawings and then transfer it to a tablet in essentially real time. You do have to tell the tablet application, it's their own app, what you're drawing with, so it puts the right strokes on the page as you're going along. But you can draw on a regular piece of paper with a regular pencil, and you will get that drawing transferred to your mobile device, and it looks really cool. So what it does is exports over to Illustrator or Photoshop later. You can also create a time-lapse video that you can then upload to YouTube. So you can kind of show your drawing getting made in kind of a sped up little fast motion sort of thing if you want to do that. And it has the ability to store drawings as you're making them offline, so you can then upload it to your device later. And we also saw the new iRobot Roomba. This is a vacuum cleaner that is robotic and automated. And this is not new. It's been out for quite some time, but this is the new version of it. This one has an optical sensor on it, I guess a camera, that will build a map of your home and then use that map to systematically keep your house clean. Now, it's not inexpensive. It's $899, but over time, you save the time of having to actually vacuum yourself. You do have to empty it out occasionally, but the vacuum will try to keep your house as clean as possible. It's compatible with carpets and throw rugs and hardwood, and it is also good for pet hair, they say, because it doesn't use the normal brushes that you might find in a vacuum cleaner, so it's very easy, they said, to get the pet hair out. So maybe we'll try one of these things out. I've got a dog downstairs that will give that vacuum cleaner a run for its money. And we also saw the new watches from Huawei. These are Android Wear watches with a round face. They start at $349. The one you're seeing right now is that $349 watch. What's interesting is across the board, I think they go up to like $450 or so at the high point. They all have a sapphire face on them, so they should be less resistant to scratching than watches made from glass, like my Apple Sport Watch here, which is getting quite scuffed up at this point. So give you a little bit better protection on the screen, pretty reasonably priced, and running Android Wear, so you should know what you'll be getting there. Fitbit was there also, and Fitbits, I've been seeing a lot more people wearing Fitbits lately on their wrists because they have a bunch of wrist-based devices now. They have a few new colors available as well as some new styling options, as you can see. So if you want something a little bit more stylish in your Fitbit, they've got something for you there. So Logitech was at the show also this week, and they had a new security camera. I think they call this the Circle. And what's neat about this one is that it has a battery built in, so you can move the camera around your home. So it's not always going to be tethered to an outlet. And in its motion detection mode, it'll last for about 12 hours on a battery charge, they say. So you can pretty much get your full workday while you're out of the house with that camera placed somewhere conveniently, maybe not necessarily near a power outlet. It'll transfer all the motion events to their cloud service. There will be a free tier, which will give you probably a day or two of video storage, and then of course you can pay more per month and get longer storage on it. They also have a nice little mobile app that'll give you a daily briefing of all the motion events that happened on your camera during that day. So they have a really nice interface. I was really quite impressed with that. So we'll try to get one of those things in and check it out. Those retail for $199. They also had a keyboard that came out last year that I hadn't seen yet. It was called the Keys to Go, and it looks like one of those membrane keyboards that might be hard to type on, but it's actually a regular keyboard with really nice travel time on the keys. It was very comfortable to type on, and it's also waterproof, so it's completely sealed. And it's very deceiving in how nice it feels to type on when you look at it. So hopefully we'll get one of those in to take a look at that. We also spoke with the folks from Zagg, and I just love keyboards. I don't know what it is about them, but I think maybe because I haven't found the perfect mobile keyboard yet, I'm always on the lookout for more. They have a nice little fold-up keyboard that I saw there, Bluetooth keyboard, And you can see it's kind of a rough shot there. I'll kind of slow it down a little bit for you so you can see how it folds up. But it folds up very small, very thin, and then you can just open it up and attach your device to it via Bluetooth. So that was an interesting little keyboard there. And Epson was also at the show showing off a new 1080p projector that starts at $749. That's their new 2040 projector. Pretty reasonably priced for a full HD projector. It's got 2 HDMI ports on it. One of them supports MHL, so it'll charge your phone through the HDMI adapter when it's plugged into it. 2200 lumens, so not the brightest projector in the world, but I think if you're looking for a nice little home theater projector, something that you don't really want to spend a lot of money on, $799 isn't a bad deal for a full 1080p projector. There's also the 2045 version that costs $845. That one includes some wireless capabilities, so you can use Miracast or Intel WiDi to bring your images over to that. And if the Epson is a little bit too big for you, there was another company there called UO who had I've never heard of this company before, but they had a neat little projector called the Smart Beam Laser Projector, an LCOS display engine in that one, 720p, supports HDMI or wireless mirror casting, focus free, so you don't have to focus it, you just set it up and it automatically detects what it's projecting onto and keeps a pretty sharp image. 60 lumens though, so not the brightest thing in the world, but I think in line with some of the pocket projectors out there, or Pico projectors out there. You certainly can't fit this in your pocket, but it does seem to work fairly well in a dimly lit room. I think the brighter it gets, obviously, the less useful it'll be, but you can just move it closer until you can see a decent image. They do say in a dark room you'll get about 100 inches of projection power on that, and there's a rechargeable battery on it too that goes for about 2 hours, so neat little product there. So that's what I saw at the show that was interesting. There's a whole bunch of other stuff there too, which we may see in the coming weeks making its way to the channel, but there's going to be a lot more to come. I'm going to another one potentially in about a week or two, so we'll see what else might be out there ahead of the holiday season. This is a very busy time for consumer electronics manufacturers, especially now that we're getting close to the holiday season here, where everyone starts to get ready to spend their money. So we'll be busy on this channel doing reviews of a lot of this stuff ahead of that. But do let me know what you thought of this video. Is this a good way to handle these shows in the future, where we do a couple of interviews and then kind of a wrap-up of all the other stuff that I saw? Or if you prefer having more interviews and less of this wrap-up stuff, do let me know, because I'm very interested in trying to figure out the right balance on these sorts of things. And until our next review, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching. This channel is brought to you by the generosity of my Patreon supporters. If you find the channel helpful, you too can contribute for as little as $1 a month. Visit Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more.